Good afternoon, everyone. Amazing day, brain sharers. My name is Carlo Calimon. I am the president and co-founder of Startup Village, and we are your collaborators here with Hero as we promote our advocacy of education. As the coronavirus pandemic continues, it is clear that picking up where we left off and returning to business as usual in education will not be possible. In many ways, this is a good thing. Our education system has been deeply unequal and erratic in delivering on the promise of quality education for all of our children. So without further ado, let me introduce our first speaker. Professor J Bernardo is the founder of Startup Village. He's a serial entrepreneur, and he is also the director of the ACE Center for Entrepreneurship. He is a guru at the Master's Entrepreneurship Program of the Ateneo Graduate School of Business under ACE, founder of Let's Go Foundation, which stands for Leading Entrepreneurs Towards Seizing Global Opportunities. So without further ado, let me now give the floor to Professor J Bernardo, who's going to be talking to us about the art of war. Professor J?
Good afternoon, everybody. I hope everybody had a good lunch. I will go straight to my presentation because I will need all the time I have. So I will share my screen now. Does everybody see it, Carlo?
Yes, we can see it. Go ahead.
Okay, I titled my presentation, The Art of War. And by art of war, I meant an academic revolutionary transformation of the willing, able, and ready. Now, schools have been in crisis, has had a lot of crises and threats, especially now. It's been estimated, according to the World Bank study, that 1.6 billion children and youth will be out of school in 161 countries, equivalent to about 80% of the world's enrolled students. There will be an increase in dropout rate. Student safety at schools will be in question. There will be an unequal education system not favoring the poor.
So for our first panelist, I would like to call on directly from New York, Dr. Lilia Jewell, Director of Online Education and Academic Technology at the State University of New York, or SUNY, who is here to help us answer our first Brainshare question. Dr. Lilia, are you here? All right.
There you go.
Good to see you, Dr. Lilia. Yeah. So for our question for you, all right, how can remote or e-learning help revolutionize education? I'll just repeat that. How can remote or e-learning help revolutionize education?
Well, right now, during the time of pandemic, I go into like really the basics, and I'll show a very quick slides on so that my argument can be supported. So, you know, I have been in online distance education for 20 plus years. Early 2000, even before 2000, I was the very first to get involved when everyone is saying it's a fad. And I put 3 programs. And it's so funny now, I get very amused that everyone now is an expert. And all of a sudden, because of this pandemic, online has become the delivery of choice. It's really, really, I'm like, when I look and listen at people, it makes me smile. There was a time that like, it's even a joke, like, oh, mag-online ka na lang. Graduate yan ng online. And then now, online is the go-to delivery format. Anyway, so
Bryce is the founder and CEO of Bryce Inspired Careers. a career development firm that provides EdTech or educational technology solutions to schools through various employability, skills-driven programs. Her deeper passion is developing the global Filipino graduate to be future-ready. She also has founded her another company called Hero PTE Limited in Singapore. Hero is a global organization of education leaders, entrepreneurial communities, industry, employers, and collaborative spaces that connect, inspire, and enable higher employability results and opportunities. It exists to represent and support varied objectives, to trailblaze new opportunities, develop programs for its members, and create an essential community that is fully engaged supporting a mission of employability. And just recently, this same company created a new passion project called One School PH. She's an entrepreneur, a motivational speaker, learning space organizer, experienced marketer, research manager, published author, and business concept ideator. As the CEO and president of Bryce Inspired Careers, she has been privileged to present her paper, The Science of Employability in Bangkok, Thailand, among 71 Asian universities through the United Board. She's also a training and business consultant to different industries such as mining, hotel and tourism, education, and manufacturing. Bryce has a PhD in humanities and studied master's degree in entrepreneurship at the Ateneo Graduate School of Business. She is a published author and an advocate of building the employability skills quotient, EMQ, of graduating students in the Philippines and the world. So without further ado, Dr. Bryce, please take it away.
Thank you so much, Carlo. Good afternoon, everyone. It feels different not to be the moderator for today, but thank you for taking up this job so wonderfully. So how do we revolutionize the future of education? Or should we say, how do we revolutionize the future of learning? In order for me to contribute to this big question, let me share with you how my journey for this quest began. Almost 18 years ago, I was once an entrepreneur who actually one of the first educators who lead the retooling or reskilling of our medical allied and non-medical allied professionals in order to enter and participate in the sunshine industry called Business Process Outsource or BPO. Center for Technical Excellence Integrated School Incorporated or CTISI was formed as a business to equip professionals of today to be relevant tomorrow. The screen that you're seeing right now was one with me on it is 100 pounds ago, Carlo. All right, okay. My motive then was to train and then hire our graduates. We had retrained and upgraded over 15,000 professionals until the day it ceased operation. I had two intentions in doing my job as the head of this school at the time. First, I wanted to see and understand the opportunity. Second, I wanted to use my observation and data as baseline for research aspiration. I believe I got my intentions accomplished, but they did not come easy. I have noted quite intensely the challenging, the shifts, all right? And the challenge came into number one, the shifting mindsets. Number two, preparing learners to use technology or summarized as skill gaps challenge. And number three, the low result of employability skills quotient to conclude.
So let's now proceed to our next panelist. I met her a few years ago, and this is something that I didn't know. So our next speaker is actually a litigation lawyer by training, but she is now the president of St. Paul University, Philippines. So Sister Merceditas Ang, SPC. As a second panelist, Sister Merceditas, being adept to school administration and operation, will help us answer the question, how does she envision a sustainable, quality-based technology-driven e-learning? Sister?
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for inviting me to be part of this webinar. Right now, we experience how the COVID-19 pandemic is impacting the way we live, study, work, think, and interact. The education sector is tremendously affected and disrupted. So we need to rethink and redesign our learning model to come up with something that would be more adaptive to the transforming world today. Except for those schools which engaged in online learning before the pandemic, many schools now are in panic and in survival mode, doing online learning, which is actually more of emergency remote teaching. Triggered by the lockdown, the educational landscape is radically changing and reshaping. So we really need to be creative, resilient, and adaptive. We need to focus on the essential components of a sustainable, quality-based, technology-driven education in the new normal and beyond.
So let me now call on our third panelist. He is the president of Redefining Learning Solution, president for international partnership also of HERO, Mr. Nikhil Chopra. So he will be answering the question, what are the deciding factors when choosing technology?
Good afternoon, everyone. Today I will, highlight a bit more about when you are looking for, what are the deciding factors when choosing the technology for your school and institution. Before that, let me just share my screen. So giving you a background of Redefine Learning, we are currently supporting the organizations and education institutions in India, Philippines, and other Asia, whereby we bring a lot of learning innovations and automations. So as part of my experience in the past and present, we have already designed, developed, and implemented blended and online learning solutions in different geographies, whereby we have trained more than 100,000 students since 2011. So I started my journey in the learning space in 2011, whereby we were doing a project in India and Philippines with one of the biggest corporate, IBM, whereby we are delivering the online learning, delivery for their, agents, whereby they need to be trained on the English communication skills. So that's how I started my journey in the education space and the online learning space. So basis that I will share my experience with you, where we believe, what are the deciding factors when you're choosing the technology for your school and institution.
All right, so let me introduce our next speaker. He is the president of Leentech Network Solutions. He is digital transformation certified, and Mr. Prodigy Richard Prodigalidad will answer the question, how do you digitally transform your school from zero to hero? So Mr. Prodigy, Richard, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Carlo. Can you hear me, guys?
Yes.
Yeah, Carlo, can you see my screen right now?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Oh, thanks, Carlo. So, good afternoon to everybody. So, for me, I believe this time is one of the world's biggest leap in education history. I think it's never before has there been a concerted global effort to digitalize education. While most of the schools now focuses on going digital, the education sector also needs to modernize and become more relevant. Digital transformation is both a solution, the solution, and the challenge. But we need to start somewhere, right? So let's start with the end in mind. And what is it? That is to provide quality education so we can enable students to develop the attributes and skills to achieve their potentiality as human beings and members of the society. With this, for me to be able as a digital transformation specialist, to be able to successfully digitally transform the organization, particularly in the education sector from zero to hero, we have put a couple of items how to navigate the uncharted waters of COVID-19. So first, digitized learning. We need to start adopting online digital solutions.